Hey guys, Peter here to do an album review. Today I'm here to tell you all about the latest album from Everfrost, Winterider, out September 6th on Rockshot Records. The album has 10 tracks, 59 minutes in length, and this is the band's second full-length album. For those of you that don't know, this is a symphonic power metal band from Finland, but on this record I felt that they included a little bit of 80s hair metal as well as a little bit of pop. All of those influences are present on this album, but to me, considering that this is a Japanese comic concept album, it really works well. This is not one of those symphonic power metal albums that's really over the top, that becomes almost cinematic in nature. I didn't feel it that way, but to me, the concept behind it is really the driving force. So you have to create an album that that enhances that concept and not overshadows that concept. And if you had a record that was over the top, that was cinematic, that had really too many ingredients in it, that became more symphonic than power metal, I think you would stray from that narrow path, and you would you would walk away from the overall concept of the record, and then it would become more about that than the concept itself. So I don't think it would have worked as well as this one did. I like the fact that they kept the record compact, they kept the record concise, they didn't try to do too much, they didn't try to go over the top on every single song, on every single solo, on every keyboard melody, on every vocal delivery. They didn't try to do too much. They tried to stay grounded. They tried to keep the record and its concept as the main focus, and everything else is there in order to enhance it. That's the overall vibe that I get from this album. Now, I like to divide this album in two main ingredients: music and vocals. Musically, I really felt that the drums were a huge asset to this record. I like the heaviness that they brought to some of the songs. This is an album that's very light in nature. It's like a feather. So you needed something that had some weight, that brought the songs down, that brought the overall record down. I felt the drums did that on this record. I really felt that the drums were the main heavy component on the overall album, and I really like how they used them, and sometimes how they dropped them more into a background effect so that it wouldn't overshadow everything else that's going on. So I really like the drums, and then obviously the guitars and synthesizer combo. I really have to put those two together because they're really two peas in a pod. I really feel the dynamic between the two is really one of the key ingredients that makes this album work. I love the solos from both. I love the melodies that they both bring to the forefront, and they always seem to be together. They always seem to be paired. They always seem to be holding hands on almost every single track, and that works really well for the style of album that this is and for the overall concept that the record has. Now, vocally, I was really impressed with Mikhail Salo on vocals, not because of what he can do. I know what he can do vocally. What impressed me the most, I think, was his ability to stay grounded and to understand that this was not about him, but rather about the overall record, the band, the concept, the album. So he was able to stay grounded and really not try too much, not go over the top, but rather deliver a simple but flawless performance on every single track. To me, that was the thing that impressed me the most. He didn't try to overshadow the songs. He didn't try to overdo it. He didn't try to over showcase what he can do, what he can deliver, his vocal range. No, he delivered perfection on every single track. He knew exactly what the track called for. He knew what he needed to do, and he stayed grounded, and he stayed within his barrier of sound in order to be able to deliver the most out of each single song. Now, as far as songs are concerned, there are 3 songs that I picked. All 3 for different reasons. I'm going to start with Winterider. That's the first song on the album. That's also the name of the album. And it's a song that immediately caught my attention. And I think when you sit down to listen to this record, that song kind of encapsulates everything you're going to hear from that point on. So it's a perfect opening track, if you will. It has a great dynamic to it. It's very lively. It has a lot of great melody, but also has a great tempo to it. Great vocals. The vocals in this song are really the life of the song. And then when you add to that a chorus that's absolutely rich in melody and in vocal performance, you put it all together, you have an incredible song. I also like the catchiness and the hookiness of the chorus. I really feel like the chorus was what attracted me to this song because it had a lot of melody. It had that earworm aspect to it. It just was that main component that really immediately, the moment I listened to the album, this song immediately became one of my favorites because of that chorus, how robust it is, how well put together it is, the combination of melody with vocals, guitars, and synthesizer, everything coming together in that chorus to really create a robust chorus. I also like the fact that you get a guitar solo, followed by a keyboard solo, followed by a guitar solo. And it's not over the top, but it's really well done and really well crafted. So it really works well with the dynamic that the song has all the way through. It continues that dynamic. It actually gives the song a little bit of extra life, and it's not one of those that just completely goes in a different direction from what the overall song has been giving you up to that point. So overall, this is a really incredible opening track that really sets the tone and the mood for what the rest of the album is going to have to offer. Second one is Chainlace Angel. This is my favorite song on the whole record. I really like the great guitar and synthesizer combo. In this song, you really feel like those two are really holding hands throughout the whole track. The use of backing vocals in the verses really gives the song a nice push. It creates a little bit of a heavier feel to the song. It creates more of a hymn kind of feel to the song, and I really like that, specifically in the verses, because otherwise it would have been extremely light. So that really gave a counterbalance to how the song is structured all the way throughout. So I really like that. It just added something extra. It added layers to it. It added thickness to the vocal performance around that specific part. I also felt that this song really mixes a little bit of 80s hair metal with modern symphonic power metal. Those two worlds really come together on this track, and how it sounds and how it's structured and how it feels, how the vocals are delivered. All of those things really made me feel that those two genres came together when they put this song on the record. This song has a really noticeable chorus, really hooky, both musically and vocally hooky. There's a really perfect combination of how this chorus on this song really comes at you, and it's really incredible. It gives the song almost an old school vibe, but still sounds modern. That's the overall feel that I get from this specific track. Last but not least, Die Young. Alright, this one caught me absolutely by surprise. I was not expecting to see a Kesha cover on this record. It works well with the overall dynamic of the album, with the overall story and feel and concept of the record. It really works well, surprisingly works well, and it really shocked me on how good it was. It still has the poppy vibe that the original song has. They didn't strip the hookiness and the pop feel from it. They didn't make it into a pure metal song, but it's a perfect song to convert into a symphonic power metal song because it has all of those elements. It has the hookiness of the chorus, it has great melodies, great tempo, it has great life to it. So what a great cover that they did. They really enhanced the original. They gave the original a little bit of extra life, a little of extra flavor, and this was a complete surprise for me. I was not expecting to see this cover on the album, but they really pulled it off well, and it's a really interesting track overall that somehow just fits in the overall structure and the overall feel and concept of the album. Alright guys, this is it. This is Everfrost Winterider, out September 6th on Rockshot Records. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles that they've released in the comment section below. I always read those and I always get back to you guys. See ya.